What time is it? Chaos o'clock. Is that what I intended to go for? No, it is not. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. That was super sweet of you. Oh my gosh, I haven't talked to you guys in so long. I know it's been a couple weeks anyways, but then the last video that I posted, I filmed in the end of August and then never finished it editing. Finish it is a word. Never finished editing. It's been a long time. I'm a little rusty, but happy to be here and happy to be here with some beautiful eyeshadow palettes from Kailav Beauty. Kailav Beauty sent these to me in PR very graciously. This video is not sponsored. I am not required to post anything, but how could I not when they sent me some of the most gorgeous, colorful palettes I've ever seen in my life. We have the Nouveau palette. I should have looked up how to say that first. Dang it, I looked up how to say Kailav, but I didn't look up how to say Nouveau. Beautiful, stunning, gorgeous, grungy rainbow. We're thrilled to use her. They also sent me their Impressionism palette, which is another freaking stunning color story. I love that they take their inspiration from like paintings and actual art. The whole brand is based around like art and art history, which is just so cool. It's so creative. They really stand out in an oversaturated beauty market. This is the Jardin palette, which was on my wish list when it first came out, because how could it not be? Greens, purples, pinks, all of my favorite colors. And then we have the Rococo palette, which always makes me think of the Arcade Fire song that goes Rococo, Rococo, Rococo. If you know, you know. Beautiful palette. Which ones haven't I shown you yet? The Van Gogh palette. Oh my gosh, I remember when this one came out, everyone was like, wow, stunning, because they had 9 shades and they did what they had to do. This is a gorgeous color story, especially for fall, winter. Then we have the Honore palette. Honore or Honore? Another name I didn't look up, but it's absolutely stunning inside. I love that blue on the bottom there. And then we have the Triumph of Venus palette, which is a gorgeous blues, yellows. Couldn't think of the word for yellow. Did you see me struggling there? Blues, yellows, deep shades. I'm just so excited. I almost dropped one on the ground. But yeah, thank you so much, Kailav Beauty. You did not have to send me this many eyeshadow palettes, but you did. And for that, I thank you, and I cannot wait to test them out today. I'm also gonna be trying these brushes that dang old Beauty Bay sent me. Don't know why I said dang old. Watching a lot of King of the Hill lately. But I'm gonna be trying out these gorgeous brushes that Beauty Bay sent me with their holiday collection. And yeah, my idea for today's makeup look is I wanna do mismatched eyes. I wanna do as many colors as I possibly can from all of these palettes, but have them be different on both eyes. And then I'm gonna do winged liner, and I'm gonna purposefully have it not match. I have like a clear vision in my head. I wanna have like multicolors on both eyes, and then I want one wing going down, one wing going up. It's gonna be art. Makeup's art. Kailav Beauty is art. It all comes full circle. So if that sounds like a topic that is interesting to you, and you wanna see me try out all of these gorgeous new eyeshadow palettes from Kailav Beauty, then I encourage you to please subscribe and keep on watching, because it's coming at you right now. Alright, so I already went ahead and primed with this Beauty Bay eye primer. It just felt like the right sort of primer to use. This is kind of like a concealer sort of primer situation. It's their base shade number 2, because I figured we should put down a sticky base for these gorgeous pigmented shadows. Can you hear the sirens? Should I close the window? It's too hot to close the window. I can't. I think the palette I want to go into first is the Jardin palette. I mentioned that this one was on my wish list when it first launched. Oh, it's so pretty. I just want to do a lot of bold colors. I think I'll start with mattes and then maybe go into some shimmers. I don't know. I don't really have a plan. It's you. If you are not new to my YouTube channel, then you know that I very rarely have a plan when I come on here. That's why I love YouTube, because everything else I do is kind of like very planned out. I also have a poppy seed stuck in my teeth, so if you see that, try to just mind your business, because I did run out of floss and I have to go get more later, and until then, that poppy seed has to live in my teeth because he's got nowhere else to go. Let's dip into the shade Geranium. Let's get to know this formula. This is my first time trying it. Haven't swatched them or anything. No idea how pigmented they're gonna be. A lot. Oh, I tapped everything off the brush. Maybe it is not that type of formula. Okay, maybe I just need to tap a little bit less off the brush. And let's put some of that peach shade in the middle. It looks so pretty. I love a peachy matte, and that is a really pretty peachy matte shade. Okay, it's like pigmented, but not so pigmented that I'm like, whoa, 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 what am I gonna do? There's fallout going everywhere and I don't know how to blend this out. Like, it's a very reasonable amount of pigment, which I like. I feel like back in like 2016, 2017, I'm gonna switch to the shade Mint now, this gorgeous green. I feel like back in like 2017, 2018, pigment used to be all anybody was looking for, an eyeshadow, right? You would watch an eyeshadow palette review and then be like, it's so pigmented, and like, that's great. And you know, coming from like olden days of makeup from back in like 2010 and earlier, where eyeshadow palettes used to just be like Chalk City and they were very minimally pigmented, you know, a lot of drugstore palettes used to be like that. Dipping into this violet shade now. We came from a time before where pigment was not to be expected. So like, I fully understand why people were suddenly then in the, you know, later 2010s being like, oh my gosh, holy pigment, and making that a big focus. But it's just so funny now here in 2022, because now it's like, pigment is the bare minimum. Like, an eyeshadow is pigmented, great. Yeah, so is every other eyeshadow. Like, if you can't make pigmented eyeshadows by this time, I feel like your brand's either not making eyeshadows or you're not around anymore, because like I said, pigment is the bare minimum. We need to expect more from these makeup brands. All right, I'm switching to the Triumph Venus palette because this blue shade is just calling to me. What a gorgeous sky blue. I am really liking the formula so far. I know I just made fun of 2018 beauty gurus for being like, oh, it's so pigmented, but like, these are a good amount of pigment, you know. Like I said, they're not so pigmented that I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. They're a reasonable amount of pigment that somebody like myself, who does not claim to be an eyeshadow expert, I'm the graphic liner girly, TM. I don't actually have that trademarked, please don't steal that trademark from me. But yeah, I don't claim to be an eyeshadow expert. I'm a little rusty on my eyeshadow skills. So thank you so much, Kailav Beauty, for sending me these eyeshadow palettes when I just said I'm not an eyeshadow expert. So all of this rambling nonsense to say, I'm gonna dip into the Rococo palette. I appreciate eyeshadows that are not so pigmented that I now feel like I have to blend them out, and I'm not great at blending. So thank you so much, that was super sweet of you. We're gonna dip into the shade Madame in the Rococo palette. My entire childhood bedroom is painted this shade, and my mom asked me like 5 times, are you sure that's the shade you want? Are you sure that's the shade you want? And I was like, Mom, I'm 14 years old. I know what colors I like. And now every time I go home to visit my parents, I'm like, why did they let me paint my room this color? It's a very abrasive color. Like, it is a cute color, but like, it's not necessarily a color that you want on your walls, if you know what I mean. Has anyone else painted their childhood bedroom a color that they now regret in their adult life? I'm dipping into the shade Blue Boy now, and I'm kind of just going over that sky blue because I feel like that last shade didn't stand out as much as some of these other colors, and that's okay because that palette that I was using before is more of like a neutrals, where like the blue and yellow are really the only pops, so like it's not gonna stand out as much as some of the other colors. And this shade Blue Boy is so pretty. It's like a nice periwinkle shade. I'm trying to stamp it over the other shade, and I am accidentally blending it with that green, but that's okay. It's art. Art blends together. What can you do? I've also been using the same brush the whole time. I could probably stand to switch to a new one if I don't want the colors to blend together. Who do I need to consult to get it to stop getting dark at 3:30 p.m.? That is my question. I know that there is no one to consult. I know that that's daylight savings time, but maybe I could consult with someone about daylight savings time, because I can't function like this, you know? It feels so late. The sun is going down. Like I said, okay, it's 4. It's not 3:30, it's 4 o'clock and the sun is nearly down. I can't deal with it. And to combat that feeling of dread, existential dread, I'm gonna dip into the shade Joyous in the Rococo palette. This gorgeous purple. I know I already have purple on. What time is it? Chaos o'clock. That's what time it is. Oops, my neighbor's dogs just started barking. Feeling very chaotic today. Feeling very chaotic every day. For some reason, I turn on my camera from YouTube and I'm just like, word vomit. Let the inner thoughts, let the intrusive thoughts win, you know? That's why I come on here with no plan. I'm in the Art Nouveau palette, by the way, using the yellow. Felt like we needed some yellow here. But yeah, I just let the intrusive thoughts win, and I don't overthink where I'm putting the eyeshadow, and that's kind of just my brand over here on YouTube. You know, you can't be curated everywhere. It's not sustainable to be curated on every social media platform or any social media platform. Am I really curated anywhere? I don't know, but I'm really liking putting all these colors together. I feel like it's giving a watercolor effect, which funnily enough, I've been getting requested a lot lately. I've gotten like 2 comments on Instagram in the last few days of people asking me to do watercolor inspired looks, like different people too. It's so interesting how that happens. And both of the comments were on videos that like, it didn't really make sense for them to comment that. Not that I ever mind, you know, you randomly commenting suggestions for me. I love that. But like both of the videos, like I wasn't talking about watercolors or anything, so it's just so interesting that that happened on both of those videos. Look at me, I made it graphic, didn't even mean to, added a little wing. Is anyone surprised that it happened? I'm not. Maybe it's time for some shimmers. I'm using the shade Summer in the Art Nouveau palette. It's a really pretty shimmery green. I should probably do like shimmery counterparts for all the mattes I've done. Wow. Oh, I like that shimmer formula a lot. These are pigmented shimmers. What did I just say about pigment? Or did I just make fun of the old 2016 way of doing things and talking about pigment? But you know what? It's different when it comes to shimmers because mattes, I feel like we should expect to be pigmented, but sometimes shimmers, you know, certain shimmers are just a wash of color, whereas other shimmers are more pigmented, and these ones are pigmented. I'm gonna dip into that white shimmer. I feel like that could be pretty on the brow bone. It actually is pretty pigmented. I'll dip slightly into the shade Deny. I don't know what the 2 dots over the E is supposed to sound like, but I'm gonna kind of make it peachier by adding a little bit of orange. There was a peach matte underneath it too. I just accidentally covered it with that white shimmer. I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. Okay, I'm dipping into the Impressionism palette now, and I'm using the shade Sunrise, which is this gorgeous, very pigmented, peachy shimmer palette, as I was just saying when the camera was not recording. I know I'm a hypocrite for talking about how pigmented these shimmers are when I just said that like pigmentation is not that deep and shouldn't be that important. But I feel like shimmers, I usually have to put down like a base layer first. Like I feel like I normally have to put down a matte and then go over it with the shimmer to get the pigment. But this peachy shade you're seeing on the outer portion of the eye here is just shimmer. And I think that's really amazing. I think that's worth noting and is very impressive. And I'm gonna take a little bit of that peachy shimmer over the peachy matte now, because who was I to think that I could resist doing an all shimmery look? And I want to dip into this pinky shade too, Water Lily, because that looks like it could be really pretty. I'm running out of room. I don't know where to go. I'll put a little bit of the pink. Yes, pink inner corner. We love it. We'll take that down into the inner corner. Hey pals, I moved on to the other eye. This gorgeous shimmer on this lid. Remember, we're not matching. In case you forgot, we are purposefully not matching on this eye. This gorgeous shimmer is the shade Verdant from the Impressionism palette. This one I think is my favorite so far. I know, like, I feel like by the end of this video I have to tell you like which one I recommend, and I so far feel like the formula is like the same across the board. I'm not seeing any differences, but the shimmers in this palette are blowing my mind, and I feel like I've used the most shades from this, so I feel like that's what I'm leaning towards recommending for you. But that being said, let's dip into the Rococo palette again, because, you know, I don't want all the shades to match, but I do like a lot of the shades I used on that side. So let's put a little purple, you know what, screw it, purple shimmer on the inner corner. I went in with a lot of mattes to start with on the other eye, and then I kind of ended up just covering them up with shimmers. I'm using my finger because I feel like this brush is not doing the most for me. It's not this brush's fault. I don't think this brush is intended for the inner corner, but I honestly don't know what any brush is intended for. Gonna go back to this fluffy brush for some of these mattes here. Let's do a little matte green. I know I did the shimmery green already, but let's just like pop some of that on the other eye. Huh. I can go back and forth, you know? I like to do this thing where I'm like, I'm gonna do one eye at a time, and then I always end up going back and forth because it's so hard to commit to being done with an eye, especially when you're doing a look like this, which is like intentionally mismatched. I'm like, I feel like I need to keep going back and forth. I'm using the shade Almond, by the way, which looks like it's kind of a sequin shade, which I am notorious for not really liking sequin shades, but I do like this one because the look is shimmery anyways. And this one's not actually showing up with a lot of shimmer on the lid, but I feel like I did use too much of that color. I'm trying to use very light amounts of every color. Remember the plan, me. I gotta clean my color switch. I actually don't know where my color switch is. I'm just like rubbing these brushes off on a paper towel off camera, but I am gonna dip this dirty brush into the yellow. We'll see what color we come out with because, oh, okay, still showing up yellow. Does anyone else do that? Can you just not be bothered to clean your brushes? That's probably not a nice thing to admit on camera, that I barely ever clean my brushes. I do clean them on a paper towel, like I rub them off, but I see people on Instagram stories being like, it's the weekend, you know what that means, time to clean the makeup brushes. And I'm like, I'm so happy for you guys. I am so happy for you that that is the lifestyle that you are choosing to lead, because I wish that I could do that. But I can't because, well, I could. I say I can't, I could. I'm back in the Art Nouveau palette, by the way. I don't know if I announced that change. That is what I'm doing. Let's take a little bit of that white shimmer again. Put that on the brow bone. That was so pretty on the other eye. I really like that white shimmer. I might even use that as a nose highlight. I don't have foundation on yet, but I will use that as a nose highlight once I do have foundation on. I have that Meghan Trainor song, Made You Look, stuck in my head, and it just keeps playing on a loop over and over and over again. I could have my Gucci on, but even with nothing on, I'm using the Rococo palette. All right, pals, I had to hop off real quick, finish up this other eye. Do I like this eye as much as this eye? No, I do not. I never do. I never do when it comes to eyeshadow. Don't you always have one eye that you like more? I know this is like purposefully mismatched, but I feel like this one flows better. But it does not matter, because makeup is about the journey. It's not about the destination. It's not about looking perfect. And I simply couldn't care less about having my makeup look perfect. That's why I wanted to do this little imperfect mismatched look. And now we're gonna add some bold black liner. I say bold, I want them to be pretty thin. I wanna do one wing going up, one wing going down. And I mean like a downturned liner. People always ask me to try downturned liner anyways. You already know what time it is. We're using a Glisten Cosmetics wet liner. This is the shade Cola, the best black eyeliner. I love it. It's a water activated liner. In case you're new here, you didn't know, I'm also using their number 4 brush, which is my favorite for doing winged liner. Gonna do a little wing. I might extend it in the front too, but I definitely want this to be an upturned wing liner. You know, my normal style. I'm kind of just gonna follow where the eyeshadow goes there, and then keep it relatively thin as I can. Sometimes eyeliner gets away from you, you know, but I feel like I kind of nailed that one. Dang it. It's always when you're like not really worried about the eyeliner turning out well, or if you have nowhere to be, or if you're just kind of like, whatever, I don't care, it turns out the best. Ain't that just the way life is? Maybe that is a philosophical lesson I should take from this experience. Ooh, yeah, see, that's a gorgeous wing. Dang, that turned out good. All right, now for the scarier of the 2 winged liners, as if any of it's scary. It's makeup, it's not scary, but I've never done a downturned liner before, and I'm definitely viewing it from more of an artistic perspective. Like, I want to just like go extra down. But I feel like my eyes, people have told me that I have downturned eyes before. I don't know, who's an eye expert? Not me. Or I don't know if any of the people who have told me are eye experts either, but people have told me I have downturned eyes before. So I feel like the style could be pretty. And we're about to find out, but then I'm gonna make it extra exaggerated. So we're gonna start it off the same, give the swipe across the lid here. And now what do? Now I'm lost. That is the only part I was confident on. Maybe I don't talk for this next part. Maybe I do a little voiceover of my inner monologue, because I need to really focus. Basically my inner monologue here was just panicking, and then I looked at it and thought, oh, that looks fine. And then I did kind of like a reverse cat eye sort of thing. Is that what I intended to go for? No, it is not. But I still think it looks pretty cool. All right, friends, I've added quite a few things off camera. I apologize. I just went and put some black liner on the lower lash line. I guess I didn't do that much, but a little bit of black liner on the lower lash line, extended the inner corners a little bit, and then added some of these pearls from ColourPop. These are their crystal face jewels in the individual pearl face sheet. I really like these. I don't wear these pearls enough. I think they added a lot to the look. I just felt like, you know, the eyeshadow was a little all over the place, and that's what I intended to do. But I feel like I needed to give some uniformity. I don't even know if it's uniformity, but yeah, I feel like the pearls added a lot. I think this eyeliner looks really cool. I'm tempted to do this all the time. I had no idea what I was doing with the downturned liner, but it worked out. It kind of ended up being more of like a reverse cat eye, but more drastic, which maybe that's all downturned winged liner is. I don't know, I've never done it before, but now I want to do it all the time because it looks so cool. Now I want to do like a double wing. Next time I feel like I should do one down and one up, and then they'll kind of look like little fishtails. I don't know, I think that could be cute. Let me zoom you out a little bit. It got so dark, I had to turn the lights on in the background. I don't know how this lighting is looking, but Bert's here. Bert is so funny, look at him. He's king of the pillows back there. I don't know if you can even see him. He's like on top of all of our pillows. Let me turn the brightness up. Yeah, he's little king of the pillows, man. He's so good. He's so good. What a good man. Okay. But yeah, you guys, in conclusion, these Kailav palettes are awesome. I literally got to try all of them, which is amazing because I got to do so many different colors. Like I was saying earlier in the video, I think if I had to recommend one, the Impressionism palette. Oh my gosh, these shimmers are so out of this world. Like, all of the shimmers were good, but something about these just really gave something special for me, and I really like the color variety in here. Like, I love blues and greens when it comes to eyeshadow, but I love that they included oranges and pinks because those are complementary colors to both of those, and it also goes with the Impressionism theme. And you got a little neutral row here for those of you who like neutrals. I could see this being a great travel palette for me because it really gives you a lot of options. You have this gorgeous deep shimmer too, which is like a deep brown, but it's got like some blue reflex in it. Let's give that a little swap. Ugh, are you kidding me? Wow, that's beautiful. I can't say the name of the shade. Emma Scintillate, I think is what it is, but wow. Oh, that's a pretty shade. I can't wait to keep playing with these. Next time I play with them, I'll try to stick to one palette at a time. I just had a very clear vision today, and I thank you so much for coming along on this journey with me. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Trying to wipe the eyeshadow off my hand. Please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I've been posting at least once a week, except for last week where I didn't post at all. I'm gonna be back to posting once a week, hopefully more in the future. I'm just trying to figure out this whole time management thing. You know how it is. Follow me on Instagram at GRWMs. I'm over there every day. Over there way too often, but it's fun. I'm on TikTok, GRWMs too. I gotta post over there more, but I will. Check out my description box for all of the products on my face today. Also, my description box, I will have all of my social justice links as always. I thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!